For this warm-up here, a school orders 120 calculators. The school receives a shipment containing 80% of the order. So they don't get the whole shipment, they only get 80% of it. So we want to calculate what 80% of 120 is. That's probably the first thing you want to do. So 80% of 120. Remember that we can't just multiply 80 by 120 because that's going to give us a really big number. And 80% of 120 is not quite 120. So in order to do this properly, we have to take our 80%, convert it into a decimal, and to do that, we need to divide by 100. So we get 0.8, and then we have the number 120, and the word of means to multiply. So if you multiply 0.8 times 120, you will get 96. So that means that the school got an order of 96 calculators out of 120. But out of these calculators, 1 out of every 3 is black. So we need to figure out how many black calculators has the school received in this shipment. So within the 96, how many black calculators has the school received? So the thing that I would do, I'm not going to draw 96 calculators. Okay, I'm just going to draw a few. 1 out of every 3. So if the first one is, that means that the second one isn't, the third one isn't as well. That would be the next one would be, and it's basically the same kind of process as you move along. If I do that, that means that it's kind of in groups of 3s. And what you want to do is just divide them in groups of 3s. So to divide something in groups of 3s, you would take that 96 and you would just divide it by 3. And when you do 96 divided by 3, you get 32 as an answer, which is A. It seems like all of our answers are A lately, but it just so happens that coincidentally, it is A as well. So you can pause the video in order to go do the second warm-up, and when you're ready, you can come back. So for this question here, number 19, the ramp pictured is 12 meters long and has a base of 10 meters. So thankfully, they give you the picture, and they want you to find the closest to the height h of the ramp. You need to recognize that this is a right angle triangle, and in right angle triangles, we use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so it's the one that's up on the wall near the projector. Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem. So I'm hoping that you're getting better at recognizing when to use the Pythagorean theorem, because this is an example of that. So in the Pythagorean theorem, we have 2 formulas that we can use. We can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared, or a squared equals c squared minus b squared. And again, you don't have to memorize these. They're on the wall near the projectors, so make sure that you look up and that you pick the right one. So we don't know which one to pick yet because we don't know what we're looking for. So let's label our sides. The side opposite from the right angle is side C. And I'm going to label H as side A and the 10 meters as side B. It doesn't make a difference which A and B you identify, but C has to be in this position right here. Since I already have C and I'm not looking for it, I'm not going to use this formula. But I will use the formula that is used to find a missing side. We're not missing the hypotenuse, so again, we don't use this formula. We're missing a side, so we're going to use this formula. So we're just going to fill in some values here. The C value is 12. Don't put the meters, but make sure that you do square it. Minus, the B is a 10. So we're going to square the 10. And then we get 12 squared, which is 144, or 12 times 12, which is 144. And 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. A squared equals 44. But now we have to cancel out the squared. And to cancel out the squared, the opposite operation is the square root. And if you do the square root of 44, it gives us 6.633, okay, approximately. That's A, which means that it's approximately, if I look at all my answers, it's not close to 2. It's pretty close to 7. It's not close to 16, not close to 22. And the question is asking which one is closest. So we could round this up to 7 meters and have the right answer.